A couple hundred years ago, the only thing you had to worry about was a hangover.
You telling me you're an investigator?
More or less.
Today, because of your curse thingy, you can't sleep with anyone.
We're not a team. I'm your boss.
Or else you might feel a moment of true happiness,
You got a real addiction to the brooding part of life.
lose your soul,
Except for the bulk of it, where I was nearly tortured to death.
become evil again,
You're a demon hunter.
Road demon hunt.
and kill everyone.
It's fucking fantastic.
I love that sound.
Thanks, Cornelia. I always appreciate your perspective.
Hello.
Good morning.
Welcome to Ale with Angel. I'm Rex.
I'm Josh.
And today's episode, we are reviewing Season 3, Episode 8, Quickening.
All quick urinating.
I spilled ginger beer on myself.
I said, I'll quick urinating.
Okay, pause and go to the bathroom then.
I feel like there's a urinating joke in there, and you just got it. Yes. I'm sorry I didn't believe in you, Rex.
That's okay. I'm used to people not believing in me in my life.
Well, you just made it really sad. Welcome to Sad Ale with Angel, everybody. God damn it, Rex. Don't you know how broody Rex is?
I'm actually not broody.
I mean, you were just a second ago.
Despite the fact that I oftentimes come off as very angry and at work quite terse, I'm quite the optimist and a people person.
Meh, 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 meh. I'm an optimist. I believe in everything. Meh, 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 meh. Well, I'm happy for you, buddy.
Happy.
That's what I like the most about you.
So
Your optimism.
I wanted to make mention of this just so that we're on the same page. But is there a particular reason you have a Snickers over there?
Well, I ate half of it.
I'm just making sure you don't have any plans of leaving Snickers wrappers somewhere.
I always have a plan of leaving a Snickers wrapper somewhere. I suppose you've just never been on the wrong end of it, have you?
No, I have not. I would prefer if that did not happen.
Well, there's a first for everything, Rex. There is a first for everything. So, we're still at 69 reviews. Nice. 69 very nice reviews.
Yes. Nice.
Once we get to 75, we are going to give you a free hoodie. Just one of you, though.
Yeah, one of you who hath reviewed us.
But you know who you are.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that also matters, like, you need to get in contact with us and send us a screenshot of your review so that we know who you are, so that we can give you free shit.
Yeah, you know who you are. We don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, first off, anyone who's reviewed us gets a free sticker, and only, like, 4 or 5 people have taken us up on that.
Yeah. 4 or 5 very satisfied, happy people who don't have Snickers wrappers lodged in their rectum at this moment.
Exactly.
That I know of.
Right.
At least
they might have them for... We don't kink shame here at Beer with
not
Buffy.
because of me, anyway. You know what? That is a new tier that is going to be going on our Patreon. If you would like a Snickers wrapper, you know what? They might shut us down for that. Can't do sexual favors. We have to do that somewhere else.
You know, okay. I wanted to say this. This is a fun thing that's happened over the years of doing this podcast is the phrase, we don't kink shame here at Beer with Buffy, has, like, come into my normal usage.
I accidentally said that on a different podcast. Boy, was that awkward. Like, excuse me, who are you? Why are you on our podcast? Ew. And then they didn't edit it out. I was baffled. Absolutely baffled. All I did was...
It worked.
I got on the show with the 2 main hosts, and then I trashed the show that we were talking about, and they loved it. I felt like such an asshole. By the way, that was the Bingeables podcast.
Yeah.
Very, very nice people. Love their podcast. Don't know if they're still active or not, but I had a great time. I felt like such an asshole, though.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we were talking about Solar Opposites by Justin Roiland. It's garbage. I've said it on Beer with Buffy and Ale with Angel multiple times, I'm sure. It's garbage.
I haven't even bothered to watch anything of it. Didn't want to. I trusted your review of it.
Yeah. Well, I want you to watch it anyway, in the same way that I want to hand you something that tastes bad and say, here, taste this.
I hate watching things like because it's bad.
Sure.
Like, I'm one of those people, like, you know, the whole, like,
I just want
this show's so bad it's good. I fucking loathe watching things like that.
I just want the validation. I want somebody else to agree with me. I've not talked to anybody who really has the same opinion, and I know I've also not found anybody who viscerally dislikes the new Wednesday Netflix series.
And see, I loved it.
Yeah, I know. Everyone loves it, but I have opinions, and I did not. And I'm looking for other people that felt the same way.
Well, you know, I know somewhere you can look for those people.
Is it called the internet?
No, well, yes, but maybe one of our doodle-doos has that same opinion.
Wow. You know what? Hang on a second. I have a list.
You have a list.
I have a list of doodle-doos. They're specifically executive doodle-doos of Beer with Buffy and or Ale with Angel. Here, I'm going to read them for you real quick. They are Liam Neville, Monica Fonseca-Taez, Tsuba Spike, Audrey Two French Names, Bridget McCloy, Dead Serious, Allie B, Nathan Lancey, Dulcinea, Rachel Doodle-Doo, DTS, Cubby the Seal, Mr. Tabalicious, Sandra Craig, Jay Sommer, Catherine Parkinson, Karen Moon, Chris V-Man, Pat Like Turtle, bad at changing their name, Heaps, Two-Tone, Don't Fucking Call Bradley Cooper, Gnome, Father Defenestrado, Matthew and Doodle-Doo, McKelly MC, Jesse Rain, Alex from the Heart, and Carrie Phillips.
Thank you so much. Without you, this show literally is not possible.
Good job.
And hey, if any of you happen to share Josh's opinion on Wednesday Addams, you should let us know. You can give us a call on our voicemail number, 269-743-0783. I just want to clarify, not Wednesday Addams, the character at large in general, the show.
but the new Netflix series.
The new Netflix
specifically.
Series.
I thought it was hot garbage.
I liked it.
There we
I
go.
liked it.
That's going to get us some phone calls. Hey, by the way, speaking of, we're going to catch up on some phone calls.
Yes.
We've got 2 or 3 of them here that we're going to respond to real quick. Don't know how much of it we're actually going to play voice of, but we're going to respond to you real quick just because we want you to feel loved and heard. And here we are. All right, so voicemail-wise, we haven't done the bit in a while, but welcome to Fred's Messages and or Crystal River Sam's Messages.
Yeah.
But neither of them are actually calling, so fuck off.
Yeah. I do want to apologize to the people who have called. We have a not small backlog of voicemails, and we just have not had the time to really be able to go through them all, and we will eventually get to all of them, though. We are going to do a smattering of them today.
Yeah, this is the first time we've really had time. So first, we've got somebody who didn't give us their fucking name, which is entirely your right, and I'm mad at you about it.
I dub them Frank.
Okay, so Frank called us about season 6, episode 3, where we, in response to us being like, what the fuck is Spike getting so down on himself about? And I just want you to know, we had like 5 other people respond to us immediately about that. And they all said exactly the same thing you did. So at least everyone's being consistent. I love me some consistency.
Yeah. You helped me understand it from a more like succinct sort of viewpoint where
kind of the way
like,
the dominoes fall plot-wise.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't necessarily think of it that way before.
Right. Spike views his failure to protect Dawn as the entire reason why Buffy's even dead in the first place. So it's like, not only did he fail to do what Buffy had wanted him to do, but his failure to do what Buffy wanted directly led to the death of Buffy.
Yeah. Oops.
And like, this is the first time that is actually clicked.
But hey, congrats, Spike. That's 3 Slayers.
Yeah.
Congratulations. All right, anonymous caller, Frank. We'd love to know your name.
Yeah.
But you also don't ever have to tell us that if you don't want to.
Not required.
If you want me to die with blue balls, that's entirely your prerogative. Okay. Next we have Matthew and DeBurr.
Yeah, Methuen Doodle Doo, one of our executive producers, gave us a call.
Long-time listener, not first-time caller. In fact, I believe they were, in fact, the first person to win a T-shirt from us. How's that T-shirt holding up? I would like to know.
Yeah, I would like to know, too.
But, yeah, you were telling us that you were talking about Buffy finding Spike attractive, a few episodes ago, and fighting it because, reasons. Because Spike bad.
Well, and, he's a sexy beast. That's fair.
Yeah, even Xander specifically was like, can't blame you. And she's like, are you fucking Spike? He's like, I'm not fucking Spike. Yet? What was that? What?
Yet?
Did I hear a yet in there, Xander? No, yes. What? Huh?
But yeah, as you mentioned, the whole Buffy bot thing was super unhealthy and super problematic.
Oh, yeah. And, oh my God, I had forgotten that she fucking rewarded Spike's good behavior with a kiss.
Right? Yeah.
Right there in the
completely
crypt.
forgot about that.
Right after he made a sex bot of her and nearly got Dawn killed or something.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. But anyway, we already talked about that in the episode. Christian Kane, who plays Lindsay, right?
Yeah, and I think we actually talked briefly. I don't remember when.
I could have sworn we did.
I think we talked briefly that he did have a music career.
Yeah, he very much is a musician outside of that.
Because I remember playing some of his music for you on my phone before we recorded one day.
And they definitely put that in there to cater to the actor's abilities. Yeah. It wasn't something that was just a crazy random happenstance. Look at this. And
it still throws me that he was a country boy.
Right.
It didn't, up until the point where you see his truck and you see some of the aspects of his life, it didn't click that he was at all a country boy.
It makes sense when you find that out, why he's so fucking depressed, because he's wearing all these hot-pressed suits, living in the big city, working with all these duplicitous ass bags.
It's like, no, dude, go sit on a porch in the middle of the country.
Yeah, go
play your goddamn guitar.
Carve a bear out of a stump with a chainsaw. Date the girl next door who happens to be your second or third cousin. That's fine. You know what? If you can't keep it in your pants, keep it in the family. We don't kink shame here at Beer with Buffy. You know what? You'll probably be happier. Everyone will know everybody at the wedding. It's great. You get at least 2 sets of parents paying for things.
Anyway, moving on to the rest of the voicemail.
Also, speaking of country music, I've watched it 4 or 5 times in the last day. Key and Peele, the one where Key plays a bunch of extraordinarily racist country songs, but has no idea how racist they are until Peele points it out. That. It's fucking hilarious. Go watch it.
Anytime I listen to country music, I always think of Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham, yeah.
Anytime I hear country music, I just think of Bo Burnham's bit about, because he does a country song, and it basically is bashing that that stadium style, modern, super patriotic country.
Yeah, pop country.
Yeah, pop country, and I fucking hate pop country.
Yeah,
I hate it so much
because it's pop country.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's hilarious that everyone keeps getting cut off on their voicemails at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah.
By the way, we've never mentioned this.
Yeah.
There's a 3-minute limit on the voicemail. We're very lax with it. We take more than that if you call back, which lots of people do.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone's surprised. So I don't want anybody to be surprised anymore.
Right.
You're only getting 3 minutes initially.
Here's your one warning.
Exactly.
If you're surprised past this point, it's on you.
It's entirely on you. And then you said ADHD for the win. I don't know if ADHD is really something. It is winning insofar as against humanity in its quest to destroy us.
Yes.
Which is why we're currently going on the 16-minute marker, and we have not yet started the episode.
Fun fact for our listeners here, and something that you may not really know, Josh. So I was diagnosed with ADHD years ago, and you are currently waiting on response from being tested for ADHD.
This coming Friday, today is Wednesday night, Thursday morning. We're recording very late this time.
Yeah.
Friday, I'll get my results.
So you're waiting on a potential diagnosis. I have been without my ADHD meds for a month and 4 days.
And my carpal tunnel has noticed.
Oh, from the recording?
I edit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. But fun fact for those of you who do not have ADHD, and for you, Josh, because you do not know this reality yet, if you happen to have ADHD is far easier to manage when you've never been medicated for it. If you've been medicated for it and then suddenly the medication goes away, it is much harder to manage it without the medication.
Well, that's problematic at best.
Yeah. So I have had a hellish month.
Conversely, however, I believe last week you were telling me that you have no idea how you survived up until now without medication.
No, that too. The reality of not having meds after being medicated, everything is so much worse. And it's like, how did I ever function?
Mm-hmm.
Because I am, for a month now, I have not been very functional, and it is awful. And the whole ADHD med stimulant shortage is hell.
So moving along, Methuen DeBurr was also telling us about the Groundhog Day episode, how it probably, because we bitched a lot about what they did with Glory.
Right.
And how it felt like they were just bringing her in and almost using her as like a monster of the week.
Yeah.
Almost. And like there just wasn't enough substance with the lead up. Like Glory was wasted on season 5.
Yeah.
She was a great villain, and they could have done so much more with her.
And yeah, so Methuen DeBurr mentioned what if they had spread Glory out into the 6th season and kind of done less with the trio, because fuck them, or
specifically bring the trio in earlier to fill in some of the gaps and spaces and start establishing some of that
and
earlier
have
on.
an overlap even.
Yeah.
If you did that, what would you have the finale be of season 5? Because you kind of need that big high point. Now, granted, obviously they needed to kill Buffy off for other plot points in season 6.
Also, they had no idea if they thought the show was possibly getting canceled.
Right, that too. But what if it had been that the peak, the climax of season 5 had been finding out that Dawn is not a real girl? And they had actually drawn that out in a specific way, that they spent a big portion of the 5th season not understanding why. Like, maybe even Glory finds out that Dawn is the key, but they don't know that Dawn is the key. And Glory's just trying to get Dawn, but they don't know why she's trying to get Dawn. And I think that would have been a really cool angle to take it.
I think it would have just filled in some gaps, and then we still end the same way with season 5, with Glory being dead, the key thing being resolved, and
maybe
Buffy dying. Because otherwise, I think we start cutting into some of the more excellent parts of season 6. We just would have had more fleshed out, less doofy dipshit bad guys for the trio. But I wouldn't have wanted to cut into or change anything about Dark Willow, which we haven't even really gotten to yet.
Yeah.
But
all of this just tells me that I'm actually really excited about doing the 6th season of Buffy here, because I've always had mixed feelings about this season. And going over it episode by episode, I think will actually help me kind of arrange my feelings about it and sort of filter that. And, maybe this season's more cohesive than I realized. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had a few moments like that over the doing the pod.
I keep seeing a bunch of random posts where people are saying stuff like, by the way, season 6 was actually really good. And I'm like, who's saying it wasn't?
Right.
Apparently, there's a lot of people that say that it wasn't. And I already disagree. I mean, it's got, it's got that episode in it. Yeah. Anyway, so in the interest of time here, let's move on.
Yeah, we're already well over 20 minutes into this episode.
Yeah, so the mummy hand, definitely the most laugh out loud thing that's happened in a long time on Buffy. And
yes, you always have to make sure your tongs are tonging.
Correct. All right, that's all for Anonymous Caller and Matthew and DeBur. I did want to bring up a text and respond. Like, I've already personally responded to Monica Tellez about this text, but I felt it was worth sharing with you all. I'm not going to read it directly, but I'm just going to give you the bullet points so that you can all share our collective trauma. I forget what brought this up. I'm
on the edge of my seat. I don't know what this is about.
But it seriously bothered me for days after you told me this, Monica. So she texted me and she's like, by the way, I have a story about my own doodle-doo that I need to tell you about. And apparently when she was in elementary school, you know, it's very common. I don't know if you did this in elementary school, but I did. I think we did it in 5th grade. They bring in an incubator and get some fertilized chicken eggs and let them hatch.
No, I never did that.
Yeah, we did that, but we didn't get to keep the ducklings. After they hatched, they just took them and probably sent them off to a farm where they lived happily ever after.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they lived happily ever after.
Wonderful, happy pets.
Matter of fact, they're still alive. I'm positive about that.
Yep, they're going to outlive all of us. Anyway, the difference here in this story for Monica is they let every student keep a duckling, which is horribly irresponsible in and of itself. But they were all really excited about it. And in Monica's case, her parents knew about it and they were excited about it too. And they were going to take care of it, raise it as a pet, maybe have some eggs if it's a girl, I guess. I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know fully how that works.
Yeah.
I've never raised ducklings or chickens, so
I just make jokes about fucking chickens all the time. I don't know how that works. Why would I not? Anyway, wow.
I think if you got chickens, you'd have to suddenly stop making those jokes.
I would probably need to stop. I wouldn't. But I should.
But it would become quite concerning that you are still making chicken fucking jokes.
Hey Josh, this is an intervention.
Oh God!
Don't touch my girlfriend.
Did she say what happened to her duckling?
Yes. So I'm trying to get there. So. Like I said, you get to share in our trauma here. So she and her friend are leaving the school, and another teacher, I don't remember who it was, maybe like the assistant principal or some shit, is like, "Excuse me, are those real ducklings that you have in your box there?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Come with me," and takes her and her friend into the office, takes the boxes, goes in the back room, comes back without them, and says, with no other explanation, says, "I put them in the freezer."
What?
Yeah. And then the kids, knowing that if they don't go now, they're going to miss their bus, and being, elementary schoolers having zero recourse to fight this extreme injustice against...
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, against a fucking otherwise trusted adult authority figure. I don't blame you for just leaving and being afraid to do anything about it. You were
a child.
You were a child.
Holy shit.
That's so fucked up. I'm telling you, I could not stop thinking about this for a full day or more after you told me this, Monica, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, holy shit.
She was like, yeah, so then we just
oh my God.
Sat there in shock on the bus ride home and got home and just broke down crying when my mom was like, "I thought you were bringing home the baby duck." About that, Mom.
God.
It's probably dead because it's freezing to death as we speak. Yeah, it's so fucked up.
Oh my God.
You know what's more fucked up? Chicken nuggets. But you know what? It's less emotionally traumatizing.
Yeah, that's still talk about really, really fucking up someone's day. Like, the child's like, "Oh my God, I get to keep this duck."
What kind of psychopath does that to a child? That's so fucked up.
I hope that person got fired and went to jail.
I'm sure they didn't, but yes, I also hope that.
Oh my God.
So this has been Fred's Messages. Fred endorses
Jesus
this message.
Christ.
Thank you so much, Crystal River Sam, for all of your input.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay, we got to get on with the show then. I guess it's Mom Synopsis time.
Joshua, What are you doing, Joshua? Oh, just being a condescending little dickhead to the one person in the world that's on my side and wants to help me attain our mutual goals. Damn it, Joshua! You're such a condescending little dickhead, you ingrate... Wait, you were just saying that, weren't you? Yes, duh. I'm an ungrateful little turd. Go on, it's okay. You can say it. Joshua! I mean, you were always a burden, and I hated you for your natural intellect and talent, and I was resentful of your youth because I wasted my own on a failed marriage. Because me and your father's only models of marriage were from growing up with two other nightmare marriages, and then looking at you and your brother, I could only see how much I hated your father and took it out on you all of the time. But you were an ungrateful little turd for never thanking me for all of that. And... And maybe if you just hadn't tried to hold me responsible for all of my psychotic abusive behavior, I could have used you to help me get farther in life and maybe feel like I'd accomplished something by at least being able to control the one person on the planet that I felt entitled to owning and abusing as I see fit. That's a good point, Mom. Now, if only you had a vendetta against a vampire for murdering your whole family a long time ago, maybe we could be friends. That's a weird segue, Joshua. I think it's weird that you know the word segue, Mom. See, you ungrateful little turd. Now you're just breaking the fourth wall. You owe me a new fourth wall. Fuck your walls, Mom. I'll give you the money for that right after I pay you back for raising me, which, by the way, will be fucking never, because today on Angel, we see another flashback to when Angelus and Darla murdered all of Holtz's family. Then back in real time, we see Sajan prepping Holtz to take on Angel and Darla. Angel and Darla are still struggling to figure out this whole supernatural vampire baby debacle. Lila and Gavin ring the alarm bells at Wolfram and Hart about Darla's pregnancy. The A-Team sneak into a hotel to use an ultrasound machine and get ambushed by a vampire cult that wants to worship the baby. The A-Team escapes and heads back to the hotel to pick up the scrolls and get the fuck out of town. But Angel finds the remains of a struggle between Wolfram and Hart's mercenary team that got taken out by Holtz single-handedly. The A-Team nervously awaits Angel's return to the car, and Darla goes into labor as Angel is yet again confronted by the ghosts of his past and leaves us with yet another cliffhanger. The end.
Ladies, gentlemen, spiny-headed looking creatures. As soon as the sun goes down, vampire. As soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Competition is a beautiful thing.
Foods here.
Segue. That did me in.
Excellent. But yeah, kind of a lot going on in this episode.
Oh, I have thoughts on that.
One might argue a little too much, but we'll get there.
Yeah. We open up on England, York, England, 1764.
AKA old-timey time.
Old-timey time.
A diddly-diddly-do.
We see a man riding across the English countryside on horseback at night. Turns out to be Holtz.
Oh, is it Holtz now?
Yes.
Well, dance me a little jig and put a plug in my butthole. Because that's what makes me dance the little jig, is when things are in my butthole. Things are in my butthole. Excuse me, sir. It's not 2024 yet. I'm going to have to ask you to calm down. You're not allowed to put things in your butthole just yet. And I'm Top Hat Jones, and I'm here to tell you that this is my cereal and not yours.
You are particularly unhinged this recording.
No.
Oh, fuck.
All I did was make a joke about butt plugs. Come on. And dead childhood chickens. So sorry, Monica. Oh, my God.
Oh, fuck.
So Holtz and some people, and
some dude tells them, "Oh, we found them, and they're gonna go burn down a house." And then cut to Angelus and Darla at a house with a little girl, and it turns out to be Holtz's family.
hello there, little wee one.
They convince her to invite them in.
Wouldn't you like to let us in the house? No, sir, I wouldn't. Oh, but I know that your father thinks that you're the apple of his eye. Okay, then. Like, it's not a good trick. It's not a good trick.
No. But anyway, they get in. There's this like back and forth where they're trying to build suspense that the house that Holtz is surrounded is the one that has these people in it. But it turns out, no, that's not the case. And Darla and Angelus murder the 2 children and the mom.
Excuse me, you're looking pretty there. How would you like to be murdered? No, sir, I wouldn't like that. And a baby screams in the background. Darla thinks maybe they should send it to be on with its mother. And Angelus inquires of Darla, would you like to do it or should I? And you know what? The mom didn't look nearly as distressed as you would think she would be at watching her daughter be eaten.
I think it's just shock.
I suppose.
She was in shock.
Yeah, she was.
And she didn't really have enough time to process what was going on.
You know, women probably dealt with enough abuse back then that she was probably blaming herself. She's like, what did I do wrong to make my child get eaten like this?
Yeah.
It's certainly my fault.
And given the representation of the attitude that we get from Holtz, I don't know that he was a good husband.
Right. I want to say...
Were there good husbands in 1764?
There might have been a couple.
Maybe like one or two.
But then again, you know, vengeance demons existed for a reason, probably.
Yeah.
He definitely seemed like a loving husband, at least on the inside.
He was at least a loving husband by the standards of 1764.
Sure, because he's certainly concerned enough to ride straight back to the house to see how dead they are.
Yes.
But similarly to his wife's not so great reaction, he does not look nearly distressed enough at finding his dead wife, who also doesn't really look very dead. So I guess it all just runs in the family. That's why they were attracted to each other. It's like, you don't show any emotions at all. Me either. That's great.
We're both dead inside.
Let's have children together.
We can leave them dead inside too.
Diddly do. And Angel and Darla overheard that, and they were like, don't mind if I do. And that's exactly how it played out, verbatim. This has been a radio recreation.
Jesus Christ, we're one scene into this episode, and I am struggling
to
breathe.
35 minutes, Sonny Jim. So let me hit the fast forward button a little bit. So cut back to new timey time. I mean, still 20 years ago from where we're at currently in 2024. But Angel walks in on Darla sleeping and lays his hand on her pregnant stomach. Darla puts her hand on his and asks, are you going to do it or am I? And obviously she's implying that they kill it. And it's a callback to what they did in Holtz's house when they killed their baby. It's clever. Opening sequence. Meow, 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 meow. And so now we're back to new timey time. Well, we've been back to new timey time, but now we're on Holtz sitting in...
I guess it's a crypt of some sort.
Some sort of crypt.
There's multiple TVs. He's watching news reels and whatnot.
It's Sajong's lair. Sajong's lair, if nothing else. Sajong. It's like Mahjong, but it's Sajong.
There we go. Yeah, and we don't learn what his name is till way later in the episode, which pissed me off because of I had to go back and write it in my notes. I'm so angry about that.
But that's why I like my transcription. I can get stuff like that ahead of time.
True.
And you could too.
That's just one of those little things that I start noticing because I've been slowly delving into novel writing in general. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that is a very important rule. When you introduce a character in a book, you need to give their name very early on.
Yeah.
And it makes me notice how fucking much they don't do that.
Specifically in this show. Like Lauren, we had a whole season and a half or something of not knowing his fucking name.
Yeah.
It was really
and that bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
So Holtz is watching 5 different fucking screens play a bunch of shit all at the same time. It's all a bunch of fire and war stuff. tanks and whatever. And it's as if we're supposed to believe that he's some kind of genius who can actually absorb all of this information.
Like, he has no context for any of this
He
shit.
didn't even know what a TV was until maybe a few hours ago.
And like some of the shit that shows like a shuttle launch, it shows war imagery from like World War I and World War II.
Right, you're gonna give this guy a fucking anxiety attack.
Right.
You're gonna fucking kill him. But Sajan, not Sajong, sorry. Sajan comes in and tells him it's a whole different world out there now. Except for Britain, they still have bad teeth.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody ever gets tired of that trope.
But yeah, he tells Holtz that he's been away for 227 years. Apparently, he made some sort of deal with this demon to like preserve him.
Yeah, is Angel that old? I thought he was.
No, he's older than that, I think.
Oh right, he's like 250.
Yeah.
I was thinking he was only 150. No, that's more. There we go.
No, he's older than that.
Holtz wonders at the magnitude of everything that's changed, but somehow Angel and Darla are still not dead. But Sajan has been tracking them somehow by accessing alternate dimensions, and he wants them dead too. But he's been saving them for Holtz because for some reason their fates are intertwined, and he would know because he has access to alternate dimensions. But he'll be damned if he's going to let Holtz rush in and fuck up all of his planning. Now get some sleep, you cute little murder machine. I don't know where he expects him to sleep, but he's literally got 2 chairs and a dirt floor and some TVs. Yeah, get some rest, bud. It's like, can I get a bucket? Jeez.
It also looks like the kind of dirt that you see in like a crawl space. It's that really, really, really dry dirt.
Yeah.
That like sticks to fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. It's like, there you go. Just roll around in that for a few hours.
Yeah. Could you imagine just waking up and it's like plastered to your face? Especially if you drooled.
Ugh. Ugh. And there's like no running water down there or anything.
Yeah.
Welcome to hell.
I bet he's really thirsty.
Yeah, I bet he is. Let's assume that there's facilities for him.
Yeah.
Just,
He's not having to just shit in a bucket in the corner.
I mean, I didn't even see a bucket, but my kingdom for a bucket. Good God. So, cut to the Hyperion. Angel and Darla reminisce about the most recent time that they boinked, with undertones of Angel being a pig also.
Right.
I mean, well, of course he is. We all are. It's called long pork for a reason. The A-team rolls in, or rather they barge in through the door, and they only knock lightly, and then they're like, oh, yeah.
Well, and Gunn's been sitting outside the door this whole conversation with his crossbow. So,
I guess.
I imagine they knew that they were in here talking, and Gunn probably heard most of the conversation.
They didn't seem at all concerned that they might be having some guilt-free pregnant sex just because.
Right. Well, and then
don't worry, it won't make Angel happy. It's just a temporary rush. Yeah. Maybe if he puts some dents in that demon baby's head, it'll know who's boss when it comes out. Yeah. I think that's how. Yeah. I had to go there.
Anyway, the A-team informs Angel that maybe Troclan isn't a person per se, but a confluence of events. And,
what a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But the good news is if this is the case, then it might mean that the baby growing in the undead womb of Darla is actually just perfectly fine. Couldn't possibly have negative repercussions.
Not a one.
Mm-hmm. It's totally fine.
Darla happens to know that the baby is somehow being protected, implying that she's tried to get rid of it but can't. I assume by like stabbing herself in the stomach or something. Everyone offers up another way to kill the baby after it's born or even before it's born. Like, I don't know, shooting Darla in the stomach with an arrow. I don't know who's got an arrow in this room. Oh, right, gun.
Personally, I think they should just fucking stake her.
Yeah, just stake Darla. And then it won't kill the baby.
More than likely, because the baby's alive, it will just be a perfectly like safe birth because the mom's body just vanishes.
Yeah. I mean, but we don't know that just quite yet.
Yeah, fair.
So,
fair.
They definitely don't know that right now. Spoiler alert, the baby's human.
Yeah.
Deal with it. So, So they're all offering up ways to kill the baby, but our Angel puts his foot down that nobody's doing anything until they know exactly what's going on. Anyone who disagrees can leave. Not you, Darla. Very clever of her to try. That's where the joke was.
Yeah, I liked that.
Thank you, Darla.
And then Cordy's like, okay, fine, I'm in, but first, and then fucking clocks Darla.
Yeah, she's understandably bitter about this, seeing as Darla recently attacked and fed on her. And now Angel wants to protect her, but it's okay because violence solves everything, Rex.
Exactly.
Yes. If there's one thing that we can get across to you on this podcast, I'm not going to finish that joke. All right. Okay. So anyway,
we'll make jokes about fucking chickens, but you know what? We are not endorsing that kind of behavior.
Yeah, we don't kink shame, but animal cruelty is a thing, and I will report you if you tell me about it. Right. So don't do that. The
report? I might not even get to that point.
Yeah, we'll just sit Cordy on you. Because she, you know what? I'm just going to start calling her the vampire puncher because this is 2 now.
Right.
Darla and Angel. Like, she's racking up a good count here.
Yeah.
And
I approve of that.
She punched Darla so hard that she went into labor.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
She sent a demon into labor. And anyway, welcome to the Wolfie Wool Venison Shack. Would you like that rare, medium, or well done?
I like it.
Thanks. So anyway, Lila's busy signing documents in blood, business as usual. The mailboy comes in and he lingers uncomfortably after she gives him a document to send off.
Yeah, this whole interaction is
a little awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she thinks he's asking her out, so that's by definition awkward.
Right.
Especially he was a little twerp and she's a grown-ass woman who's way out of his league. But, what else would she think based on how he started his sentence? He's like, I've admired you for a long time. And then she's like, listen, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No. No, he's like, no. Here, just here, take this. And it's a disc with a video of her stupping Angel when he was body swapped.
Yep.
And she's like, what? You little motherfucker, I'll fucking kill you. I'll skin you alive or something if you don't tell me what the fuck's going on right now. I did
like his response to this when she's threatening him is, I respect you way too much to be attracted to you.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
And like, in her position, I could see her taking that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I think it would have come off better, I fear you too much to be attracted to you. I think she'd have liked that more.
Yeah, because it's certainly not mutually exclusively possible. It's not impossible to respect someone and be attracted to them. And it kind of bothers me that he phrased it that way because I'm like, well, that says a lot about how the men that wrote this think about women.
Yeah.
That they can only be attracted to women that they don't respect.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't pick up on that one.
Oof, yeah.
Good catch.
You're welcome. So fail in the Bechdel on this episode.
Oh, God, yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't actually really know all the tenets of the Bechdel, but I feel like that one would fail it.
Yeah.
We've been talking.
It's not good.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Bechdel since like episode 1, and we still haven't really done our research. But if you're still listening to us, then you don't care approximately as much as we are irresponsible.
Yeah.
So here we are.
We do well enough.
Yeah, we do well enough. It's fine. We have intuition, damn it.
But yeah, he goes on to talk about how he needs to pick sides. He wants to ally with her against Gavin. He doesn't ever explain why.
Yeah.
Yeah. He then tells her that...
he's just very vague, and he's like, we see things in the mailroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he informs her that Gavin, when he sent the exterminators into the hotel, he had it bugged. They weren't the kind that exterminate bugs. They place bugs.
I see what they did there.
Yeah.
Nice little play on words. Yeah, she bullies him into telling her exactly who they are. He is implying that they are allied against. And he's like, it's Mr. Park, which is Gavin. It's like, of course, because they've been pushing this whole
who the fuck else would it be?
Yeah, this whole thing with Gavin fucking with her this whole time. And so they leave to go talk to Gavin.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. She like flaps him on the shoulder with the disc as she walks out the door. I was like, okay, odd choice. Love it.
I don't want to share my feelings. I don't want to open up. I want to find the guy that killed Tina, and I want to look him in the eye. Then what? Then I'm going to share my feelings.
So we cut to Gavin Park's spy room,
Where it's not well funded.
where they've hired exactly one mediocre tech guy
Yep.
to run the entire operation.
And honestly, this is how most IT jobs work out.
Right? Look at Jurassic Park.
Exactly.
Like that's not.
There's also things here that could eat him.
Oh yes,
There's lots.
probably in the same room with him.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's Gavin or Lila. Not sure if they have to change forms to do it or not, but somebody in that room, yeah. And he's transcribing all of the audio from these video feeds that are going into the Hyperion Hotel. And he's doing it manually, and he's got like this entire fucking thick-ass script.
Well, this is 2001.
And I'm not debating
Like-
that that's how they would have to do it. But damn, that motherfucker gonna get carpal tunnel.
At the fucking very least, have a goddamn separate computer so you can type that shit. At this point, it turns out that the mailroom guy is actually helping Gavin.
Yeah, what? Somebody in Wolfram and Hart is being duplicitous?
Right.
That never happens.
To me, what this brings up the question of is, what?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is Gavin's...
What's his game?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I think they kind of
what?
covered that because Lila's like, if you think you can blackmail me with this, and he's like, no one cares. From what I've heard, bumping uglies with an old man that body jumped into a vampire is the closest thing you've had to a meaningful relationship in years. This is about something else. And she's like, okay, so you needed help, and this is your sadistic way of telling me? And I think it's just an extended joke because that's just how convoluted shit here works.
Okay, I can kind of believe that.
Because
but
if
it's
Gavin
still
actually
just like-
wanted help, and it sounds like he does, he is too proud to ask for it.
Well, and we fucking know he is out of his league.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he is not under any circumstances going to be able to keep up with Lila. And I will actually be fucking livid at this show if he is somehow as competent as her, because like no way.
I'm pretty
No
sure
fucking way.
pretty sure he's gone by the end of this season if my memory serves.
Yeah, I can't remember at all.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't.
want him to get eaten.
Yeah, my
He
memory
deserves to be eaten.
My memory absolutely does not serve particularly well. But I've got an inkling that he's gone by the end of this season.
But
so
yeah, so Lila starts looking through the transcripts, and she notices an entry for an unidentified pregnant woman, and they call up the tapes and play it, and she is properly shocked, and her gast is fully flabbered at seeing Darla pregnant.
And they almost fucking do our bit again. So close.
Right?
They said it twice.
I love it.
But then they stop at 2, the fucking assholes.
Anytime they do that, it gives me a little warm fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's like,
Darla?
ooh, Darla?
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 Darla!
Darla! So anyway, they're like, oh no, his vampires can't have babies. So Lila calls Linwood, whoever the fuck that is. And it's like, oh my God, you're not going to believe who's knocked up. And Linwood's like, oh honey.
We've actually met Linwood before.
Have we?
He's Lila's boss.
Okay.
He was also
See, my memory does not serve.
the fuck was that dude's name who was above Lindsay and Lila? Start with an H?
I do not recall. I only recall that he talked like this.
Yeah, that guy.
Yes.
He's the dude. Linwood's the dude who replaced him.
Gotcha. Okay. No,
But we
he
have
certainly
seen
has
him
not.
before. We have seen him.
It's been a minute. So we're back at the Hyperion, where Darla's not enjoying being in labor.
No, and you know what? Can't blame her. It sounds awful.
And Wesley estimates that it's going to be about 18 hours, and she's like, that's too long, and she's very distressed. They leave her to her suffering, and they have themselves a little sidebar in the next room. They decide that since she's already seen a shaman, and hospitals don't admit vampires, they don't need a doctor, they just need the right equipment. implying that they're going to go storm a hospital
Yeah.
and take what they want for free because that's how you do business in LA, baby.
I mean, that's how you do business in LA when you're, unlicensed business owner, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a couple of licenses, but certainly not a license to go into a hospital and use the shit
Right, yeah.
on supernatural beings.
I'm just impressed later that Wesley knows how to fucking use one.
Right. Yeah. I feel like there's probably a couple things you would need to know about that, but
Yeah.
he's a big brain boy. He's good. He's got this. So back to the Gerba thump thump.
Yeah, where Lila and Gavin are talking to Linwood, and they're all just like, what in the fuck is going on? How do we not know what's going on?
Yeah. Linwood is also a little distressed, although he's not giving birth to a literal baby,
Right.
but one might suspect that he is in fact giving birth to a baby at all.
I actually greatly appreciate that they have no fucking clue what's going on.
Oh, right.
I appreciate this so much because it shows, like, we've had way too many times in the previous seasons when it's like, oh, of course Wolfram and Hart is behind that. They're behind fucking everything.
They're portrayed as this omniscient,
Exactly.
omnipotent entity.
And this shows a moment where it's like, okay, maybe there are things going on that they're not behind, for fuck's sake, finally.
For a change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Linwood's all worried that his whole empire is going to be unraveled for missing that Darla's pregnant, and his tiny little micro pencil dick empire of watering a building and leaving his wife for a young girl is going to be destroyed
Yeah.
or something. So they assure him that no one could have foreseen this, not even all their best psychics and mind readers, whom they've herded into one room together, by the way.
Yes.
Cyril, the mailroom boy, slinks out of a door as they walk past, and he's looking all duplicitous and shit.
Yep. Very, very sneaky.
Extra duplicitous. Like he's
Right,
He's
like-
even sneaking around on fucking
Right.
Gavin now.
He's more duplicitous than anyone else in Wolfram and Hart currently that we can see. And that's saying something.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a mailroom boy.
Yeah.
Go you. You're really going places, kid. Proud
But
of you.
yeah, he makes a phone call to talk to Master Tarfall.
Yeah, it turns out his true master is neither Gavin nor Lila, but some fucking demon cunt. And we can hear this automated phone message that is a pure Buffy first gem, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this. This is one of my quotes of the day. So this
There are many.
voice message goes as follows. Hi, you've reached the Tittles. I'm sorry, the Tittles.
Right.
Okay, moving on. We can't come to the phone right now. If you want to leave a message for Christine, press 1. Then it switches to a man's voice. For Bentley, press 2. And then, or to speak to or worship Master Tarfall, Underlord of Pain, press 3. Beep. Master, it's happened. The thing you have foreseen has come to be. We must tell the others. Fuck you, Cyril.
I'm just saying it would have been so much funnier if he pressed a button on the phone and was like, hey, Christine. And completely, like, it just glosses over. Nobody mentions Tarfall.
Actually, yeah.
That would have been so much funnier.
Yeah. Huh. And then we just never hear anything about Tarfall ever again.
Exactly.
Christine's the evil one.
Yes.
Anyway.
Exactly.
But no, he's calling for Tarfall.
Yeah.
So dun dun dun. Oh Jesus. Sure. Okay. Well, now this little fucking twerp. Am I right? So Wolfram and Hart, where even the male boys are evil. You're welcome.
Yep.
Cut back to York, England, 9 years later from
Yeah.
Holtz's family being killed, but old-timey time again.
Old timey England.
Tidely do. Just thought
That was aggressive.
you might have forgotten.
That was just very aggressive.
Wanted to aggressively make sure that everybody knew exactly where we were in time of the old.
So Holtz
timer.
is staring into a fire. Sajan shows up. We get a fun little joke of basically Sajan is like, I'm not a man, and then walks into view and it's like, oh, he's a demon. And he's like, well, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm still very masculine.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even get that.
Yeah.
I'm so woke that it didn't even occur to me the way
he's
that
like-
they intended it.
Because he's like, I'm not a man, as in I'm not human,
Yeah.
but he's a man.
Yeah.
He's just not a man.
Yeah, but I'm still masculine, you know. I'm just not human.
Yeah. It's great.
That's extra funny now. Okay. I thought it was funny that, or, you know, not necessarily funny, haha, but funny, peculiar. Holtz is nodding off in front of a fireplace, and it actually seems like a nice and cozy little scene, you know, never mind the dead family part.
Right.
And then he's just almost completely unbothered by this suddenly unexplained presence that just wisps into the room. I'm not sure how he maintains such confidence in fighting this unknown entity as he slowly stands and turns to face it. Like if it wanted him dead, he'd have never stood a chance, even if he'd taken it seriously.
Right.
Because it was behind him while he was sitting.
The thing is I would bet that at this point in time, Holtz doesn't have that much knowledge of the supernatural. He's hunted vampires. He probably knows fuck tons about vampires.
And there's definitely a lot of proof in this episode that he seems to hate everything supernatural.
Right.
Because he thinks everything supernatural is patently 100% black and white evil.
Yeah. But the thing is like, this is somebody who is in his house and wasn't invited.
Yeah.
So he probably like has that kind of, oh, well, it's just a person then.
Sure. Okay, so that explains his initial reaction, kind of. But he still seems unbothered by noticing that it's a demon.
Right.
But he does tell him to get the fuck out. But Sajan's there because he wants to offer him a chance to help him kill Angelus and Darla, because he happens to know that without his help, Holtz will die a bitter old man and never get a chance to confront them ever again.
Yeah.
And if he says yes now, he'll take him to the future immediately. But Holtz is like, I suppose through black magic and sorcery.
I like that.
And he's like, no, with a horse and carriage. Yes, through black magic and sorcery.
I'm a demon.
So he gets over this stick up his butt about black magic pretty quick at the prospect of vengeance. And he obviously says yes, even though we all see Holtz slowly mulling it over dramatically,
Right.
and then we cut to the next scene.
There's nothing so lovely as dreams. Everything's in them. Everything hidden. Open those chambers and you can truly understand someone. And control them.
So next scene, we cut to the hospital where they've taken Darla. It's, fun fact, a teaching hospital. They find a room to do the ultrasound in. Immediately once they get into the room, essentially Wesley's like, oh, I guess it's false labor. Oopsie.
Oopsie-doo.
But while they're there, they're going to do some imaging, and they get an ultrasound machine to look at the baby. Oh, look at the baby.
Baby, not to mama. You remember that movie, Dinosaur?
It wasn't a movie. That was a TV show.
I meant the TV show.
It was a sitcom.
I misspoke. You're right. It was, in fact, a sitcom.
Did you ever look up or watch how that show ends?
Doesn't it end with an asteroid?
Yes. It ends in Armageddon.
That's so fucked up. Oh, jeez. That was a fun show.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cordy pokes her head out of a side. Oh, wait, no, they've already ducked into the room at this point. Braxton Hicks contractions. Gunn and Fred rush in with an ultrasound machine. They ask her if she wants to see what's inside. Like it matters. This is what you're fucking breaking into and sneaking around a hospital for.
Yeah.
Cut to Sajan's lair.
Back in the crypt-like place, Holtz is obviously very impatient. Like, for fuck's sake, he made a deal to be brought 2 centuries into the future to kill Darla and Angelus, and he's currently not killing Darla and Angelus. Like, I kind of feel like he has ground to stand on with his impatience.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. Kind of. I mean, you've got one friend and you're now in a scary, lonely place that you don't understand.
Right.
Maybe
and
don't.
You have no identity or money.
Yeah, maybe don't push him too hard. But he doesn't really understand the importance fully of needing identity
Right.
or money to survive. If there's anyone in the world that you can toss into the woods and they'll build a cabin and survive
True.
eating fish,
True.
it's him.
cut to the next scene of him working at a fucking McDonald's.
Oh God, that'd be so sad.
Welcome to capitalism, bitch.
I started building a cabin and they arrested me.
Which is exactly what would happen.
Yep.
No, and it turns out that Sajan set into his magic-y system, whatever he did to Holtz, means he can't actually hurt him.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah,
Because he like reaches to grab him, and then I couldn't tell if Sajan's just incorporeal. Like,
Nope.
did his hands wisp through him? It blocked him.
No, because he basically says, I wouldn't have put all this work and time into this if I made myself vulnerable.
But he
to
says
you.
that if he could have just walked up to Angel and staked him, he'd have done it years ago. So that made me think, oh, he's incapable.
Okay, maybe he is.
So he is just incorporeal.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, in a fashion. So how he doesn't fall through the floor to the core
I
of
kind
the...
of want to look back and see if he touches anything in this episode.
Right. Well, I mean, he touches a cigarette. He touches clothes.
Oh, yeah.
He obviously is able to set up a TV. So, I mean, I was saying,
Yeah.
I don't know how he's not falling through the floor to the core of the earth if he can't touch anything. But,
Yeah,
stuff.
Who knows? Anyway, yeah, he can make himself look human. He is, what did he call it? His
street face.
street face.
He can, take off all that latex makeup.
Exactly.
And look like a human because he literally is one.
He did not quite look what I would have expected the actor looked like.
Really? Because I felt like, oh, that's definitely what that guy looks like without makeup. He looks much better. Looks much nicer.
He definitely is prettier.
Good for him.
He's prettier without the makeup. It's good makeup too. Like, I like the look of the...
He looks like a guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that even though he does the street face thing, his hair is the same. It's still long.
Oh, well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But yeah, they're going to go, I guess, check out some henchmen that he hired.
That's where they're headed. And cut to the dog sheep snort. A room full of psychics and mind readers where Linwood's berating one psychic for not foreseeing all this. Not sure why it's specifically this one mind reader's fault or psychic's fault. Everyone there seems partially to blame to me, but okay, fuck this guy in particular.
I did like how Linwood's like, oh, you know what? It's fine. You'll be all right. And
we're going to give you another chance to save your skin.
And the psychic's like, no, you're not, and then gets murdered immediately.
And hey, let's see how this bag fits over your face. And it's like, well, where was your foresight on that when we needed it?
Yeah.
Like, what an asshole.
But yeah, none of their resources, which I imagine ample resources, none of their resources have any fucking clue what the hell is going on.
Very obviously. But, I think it's good that they killed this one psychic, because that's what you get for lending your celestial powers to an openly evil law firm.
Exactly.
And Linwood also makes it clear to Lila that he's going to blame her for it to the powers that be, or, whoever his bosses are.
First, he implies that he's going to fall on his own sword over it. But then he's like, no, actually, I'm going to throw you under the fucking bus.
By blaming her.
Who the hell do you think I am?
Yeah. And then they're going to see right through that.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, but she's under you, so it's your fault, so you're dead too. Gavin laughs like the little weasel dick that he is. And Lila's like, oh, it's not over, honey. And she makes a little phone call. Cut somewhere else to this shirtless dude that's meditating over a candle, holding his hand out over the flame with a piece of paper in his palm. The paper ignites, even though his hand appears
solid effect,
undamaged. It was pretty obviously they were doing the depth perception trick.
Well, yeah.
But they did it well enough that I wasn't mad about it. And so he's clearly got mind over matter going on because his hand is fine.
Right.
So he picks up his cell phone because it rings and we hear nothing. And he just waits a second and goes, understood. And then he telekinetically grabs his katana and whips it around a bit. Oh, boy. And it appears that Lila has called in the big guns.
Yes.
Or the mediocre guns?
The mediocre guns, as it turns out later.
Pretty mediocre. We'll get there. cut back to the hospital where Wesley is ultrasounding Darla, and guess what? It's a boy.
It's a human boy.
It's a real boy.
It's a live human boy.
Not made of wood at all. Angel gets a little too caught up in the idea of being a daddy.
Well, they all sit in awe, which makes perfect fucking sense to me. Like,
yeah, it's a bit weird.
it's a human boy.
How the fuck did that happen?
Currently in the undead womb of a vampire. Like, nothing they understand about how reality works makes sense here.
And it's subsisting entirely on blood. But it kind of makes sense as long as it's getting all its nutrition from Darla.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're surrounded by vampires. Plot twist. All these vampires want to do is worship the miracle child.
Hold on, I wanted to make mention of a fun little bit here where everyone's kind of in awe over this baby and everything, and then Fred perks up, is like, mentions being surrounded by vampires, and at first Angel's like, oh, well, okay, yeah, but, and then she's like, no, we're actually surrounded by vampires, and there's vampires all around them.
And then suddenly people pay attention to their surroundings. Yeah, that's a fun bit, and I would expect nothing less from something in the Buffy verse.
And then we get a couple of good a line here. Corey's like, who has a plan? And Gunn, I like Gunn, says, don't let them kill us. Sounds like a good first step.
Brilliant! How about we survive? Good plan. Break. Cut to the street where Sajan and Holtz are walking down the sidewalk, not holding hands, because he is in fact a masculine non-man. And they knock on a random door where some dude eyeballs them and lets them in after he announces that he is
very exclusive.
That he is Sajan. Very what?
Very exclusive.
Very exclusive. Only the best allowed in here. It turns out to be a training room full of grappler demons. Holtz again struggles to get over his bias against all things supernatural.
Yep.
Sajan calls them all to attention for Holtz to begin commanding his troops.
Well, we get another little joke here. Because Holtz is like, oh, these are not men. And Sajan says, once again, gender, not species.
See? God. If these guys can grasp it, you can too.
Exactly. Yeah, they're grappler demons, and they look like a slightly less wrinkly version of that wrinkly demon that Spike has hung out with, but with tusks. That's what they look like to me.
Yeah? Yeah, maybe the other one's just been detusked.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's why he's all wrinkly, is because that was his source of testosterone.
Oh,
and he's lost that now.
Yeah.
Or he's a completely different species.
Yeah, probably.
They make it sound like just flappy-skinned demons are an actual species.
Yeah, apparently they're grappler demons, and they're super badasses and dangerous.
They look like it to me. So we cut back to the hospital where the lead vampire confirms that he's there to protect the child. Angel's quite relieved at this news. And he's about as relieved as one can be as they hear the impending thump-thump of the very stealthy arrival of the world's greatest assassin, whose childhood imprint on the Kool-Aid Man was perhaps a little too heavy, as he crashes through the window, oh yeah, and immediately gets eaten by all the vampires.
This was a very good moment. I laughed pretty hard at this.
I thought it was so fucking stupid.
It was, but that's why it was funny.
Yeah, I approve that rationale.
The whole tone of this assassin character is the same tone as the meme that you've seen of the sign in the mall, like, sword shop that says you're expertly checking the balance of artistic reproductions of anime swords. Because you get those guys who go to those fucking stores that have all the cheap-ass katanas and bullshit, and they're like, ooh, I'm checking it like I'm some fucking expert.
Some fucking master, whatever.
And you see the fucking fedora-looking dumbasses, like, swinging around a katana like they fucking know how to use it.
Yeah. Those kinds of fucking nerds. I've always striven, I believe that's a word, not to be that kind of a nerd.
Right, right. Well, and what I particularly find interesting is my soon-to-be father-in-law is a fencer. And one of the very first things he did when we went to his house when I went to his house for the first time is he showed me his sword collection.
Stabbed you in the heart?
No, he did not stab me in the heart. He showed me his sword collection. He has a great deal of fencing swords.
And then as he kept you from bleeding out, he got real close to your face and said, "What are your intentions towards my..."
No, actually. He and I hit it off quite well.
Well, that's good.
Like, he really likes me. And you know what? I actually like him too. He's a pretty cool guy.
That's a great way to go into a marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, an in-law.
I suspect I like my fiance's father more than my fiance likes my
their
father.
Oh, well, okay.
Not that my fiance dislikes my father, just, my dad's a boomer.
Yeah.
Caitlin's dad isn't exactly a boomer.
He's got some conservative problematic tendencies, but boy, oh boy, do we not need to get into that right now.
Tangent aside.
Yeah. So...
this dude deserved to die, and it was funny.
Yes, that is correct. And then the lead vampire makes it clear that he intends to kill the rest of the humans in order to nourish the baby.
Yes.
And Darla is pleased by the sound of dinner. And why shouldn't she be?
Yeah, she's hungry.
Damn right.
She's eating for 2.
They've been starving her for like 24 hours.
No, sorry. She's drinking blood for 2. There we go.
Well, that too. But yeah, I'm amazed that they just haven't been feeding her, and I guess it's because they don't know what it is, and maybe they shouldn't nourish the hellspawn.
She obviously doesn't want fucking pig's blood.
Oh yeah,
from the last episode.
So it's kind of hard to feed her if she won't eat what they have.
Yeah.
Good point. So we cut to the dog a sheep snort again, and they're providing a tactical team with schematics of the hotel.
Yeah. Which, hey, actually, I want to give Gavin some kudos here. Like, he does have all the blueprints of shit for the hotel.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's a one-up.
It's a good thing to have.
And they already have a fucking surveillance system in place. Granted, it's a shitty surveillance system,
and that
but they have one in place.
His strength is definitely in the banal...
Right.
Kind of...
The banal logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paperwork.
Which, I think
he's
portraying him, he is a Volgon. Nice. Hopefully he just doesn't do any poetry.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he does. But no, I like the idea that he's evil, but he's just capitalist evil.
Yeah.
He's
normal evil.
Right.
Come on, guys. Let's not be too evil here.
Yeah.
Let's only murder for greed. All right?
I'm with Wolfram and Hart.
Everybody should have a lawyer like this.
Mr. Winters shall never be convicted of any crime. Ever. Should you continue to harass our client, you'll be forced to bring him into the light of day.
I want that stricken from the record.
A place I'm told that's not all that healthy for you.
Then the camera pans over to show us Lila entering with oh god, see if I can say this dude's name, because I remember hearing it, but I wrote it down and I did not write it down phonetically like I normally do.
I didn't get his name. I just
Dr. Fetvanovich.
Fetvanovich.
Yeah,
sounds German enough to me.
He's from the Balkans. So he's not
whatever
German.
Whatever the fuck that is. But he's a professional in paranormal obstetrics, which I believe is a baby doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
And specifically unborn babies probably and pregnant women. So he's very excited to dissect Darla and her baby.
Yes.
Cut back to the hospital where Darla plans on sitting out the fight until they inform her.
I'm disappointed they cut away, because there was obviously a moment where they were all going to maniacally laugh together.
Oh, and we missed out on that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Like Austin Powers.
Yeah. Austin Powers was ahead of its time. Man.
Yeah.
There was some good shit in that. Also, some really bad, stupid shit that was also gold because of how bad and stupid it was. Anyway, we're back at the hospital. Darla plans on sitting out the fight until they inform her that they will also be cutting her open and wearing her entrails as a belt right before they worship the miracle child. She changes her mind.
Yeah, like you do.
Like, perhaps she will fight with them now.
And then we get some cleverness from Fred here where she asks Gunn if he has an extra dagger. And of course he does.
Is that what we're calling it?
He keeps many daggers on
All right.
hand. And then she steps up behind Darla and threatens the baby with a knife.
The baby hostage. But she also, in all of her cleverness, is kind of an idiot and whispers to Darla, they don't know the knife can't hurt the baby.
Right.
And Darla's like, well, now they know because vampires have great hearing.
I did want to note when she does this, Cordy responds with, it's always the quiet ones.
No,
and
yeah.
like we have had, this is at least the second time I can recall that Fred has done something like this where the essential response was, it's always the quiet ones.
Right? Like, when are you guys going to stop being surprised?
Yeah. She's actually badass.
She's a feisty one, yeah. And now at first glance, it seems really dumb, this whole part where suddenly Fred's plan goes to shit immediately. But actually, I really appreciate how they're deconstructing this trope of asides at far too close range that nobody else ever seems to be able to hear. Like, okay, thanks for reminding the audience of that plot point, but also thanks for paying a little attention to realism for a moment and how sound works. But also now they've just made Fred look really stupid, kind of.
Yeah.
And I don't think Fred's quite that stupid.
She probably doesn't have a whole lot of experience with vampires, so she may not realize just how good their hearing is.
Even if they weren't vampires, she said it too loud.
Right. But the other part is her plan still helped. Because, think about it. In the moment where she had the knife to Darla's belly, they were able to take a big step back towards the door. And the vampires that were behind them stepped around. So now they're no longer surrounded.
That's something.
And the fight that ensues here, they actually succeed because they started not surrounded.
All right. Fair enough.
So her plan helped. It didn't help as much as she probably expected it to.
Right. Yeah. Unintended, but not unwelcome.
Yeah. And then they don't have to walk away. They get to kill all these vampires.
Hooray! Or at least most of them. It seems like they're still pretty paranoid about some of the stragglers.
Yeah.
Anyway, they fight.
I did kind of dislike how easily they killed all these vampires.
And also, they clearly filmed this scene in a rush and had to cover some shit up with bad editing.
Right? There was a bad moment of slow-mo.
Yeah, it was such stupid slow-mo.
Oh my God, it was...
Where they were covering up this weird moment where Wesley is lunged at by a vampire.
They probably in the editing room were like, oh, guys, the episode's a little too short.
I think there were more... They can always play more commercials.
Yeah, fair.
It seems more like they'd be concerned about we need something to cut between these shots.
Actually, I don't think they can just play more commercials because that shit's on contract.
Yeah, they probably...
So they probably have to have a very strict runtime.
Yeah, I bet they did now that you mention it.
I think the difference of when the commercials show up can be shuffled around.
Maybe.
But it's like the way ads work, no, they unquestionably very strict.
There was something going on because that was an awful shot that they otherwise would have cut out.
Yes.
Anyway, so they fight. Are we surprised? They all make it out alive. Angel stakes the leader boy on their way out. And we're back at the Hyperion. The evil SWAT team floods in.
Yep, special ops guys raid the empty hotel. The doctor comes in. It's like, set the baby's cage next to mama's.
Evil!
The whole time with this character, they're just basically like, how can we prove that this guy's evil?
Someone get a hose. There's going to be blood. Except he's German.
Yeah.
So that's how you know he's evil.
Yeah.
Or he's German-ish.
Yeah.
Where'd you say he's from?
The Balkans.
Okay, but he's obviously just doing a bad German accent.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And don't feel bad. I'm not really sure where the Balkans are.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
Well, he sounds like a Nazi.
I'd have to Google it.
If it sounds like a Nazi and it clucks like a Nazi,
And
you fuck it.
he, the costume and the look of the character and everything, he's a fucking Nazi.
He's a fucking Nazi.
Like, yeah.
And so we come back to the car where 6 people are jammed into this tiny ass little convertible. It's pretty impressive, honestly. Angel notices what?
Especially with the fact that one of them is very pregnant.
Quite pregnant. And Wesley's definitely keeping a stake pointed directly at Darla's chest. Just in case they get in an accident, she will definitely die.
Yes.
So Angel notices that Darla seems upset, and they think there's a tear running down her cheek that is somehow not blood.
Right. And he deduces that she is getting emotional over the fact that she saw the child.
Yes, he presumes that it's from seeing the baby on the ultrasound. Not sure why that's important, but okay.
Well, actually, important tidbit of information here. A lot of times when you have situations where women are planning on giving birth but then giving their child up for adoption, there is actually a practice of not letting her see the ultrasound. Because when she sees the ultrasound, she might change her mind.
Might get attached.
Yeah.
That's fair. I've heard that before, actually, now that you mention it. Anyway, she hides her feelings by saying something classically Darla, like, no, I'm just disappointed that the vamp cult didn't kill all of you guys. So, where are we going?
Yeah.
And she's hungry.
Well, and they decide they can't go back to the hotel because, obviously people are out to get them.
So they're on the run, but they can't go to Vegas for whatever reason. I guess too many lights. I don't know.
Well, also,
too much sunlight.
Also, Gunn's like, hey, I know where we can go. And then Angel's like, we're not going to Vegas.
Oh.
Like, how many times does Gunn bring up Vegas?
I don't know. Is that a recurring theme?
He brought him up before.
Huh.
Or when one of the times that Angel went on a retreat or something.
Oh, yeah. Should have gone to Vegas.
Yeah.
I think that was the beginning of this season, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they can't go back to the hotel, but Wesley makes a good point that we have to at least make a quick stop back at the hotel because we need those damn scrolls.
Yeah, they're literally the only people who have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Everyone else seems to know what's going on with this kid but us.
Which I like the fact that, in fact, nobody knows what the fuck is going on with this kid.
The vampires might have, but
they might have known something.
That's the first we're hearing about them.
But outside of the vampires knowing something, like, nobody seems to know anything.
Well, Wolfram and Hart sure as fuck doesn't.
I bet Sanjan knows what the fuck's going on. And I bet he foresaw this happening, and that was the entire reason that he brought Holt here.
Yeah, Sajan definitely has more of a clue than anyone in this episode, that's for sure. Yeah, maybe they should just start carrying those fucking scrolls around wherever they go, like they should have taken them to the Caritas with them.
Right.
But whatever, here we are. So I guess they got to make a quick stop back at the hotel.
Or how have they not made copies?
Right. Do a crayon rubbing. At least.
Yeah.
At least reference Indiana
You
Jones.
have a fucking copy
Please.
machine in your office,
You
guys.
Sons of bitches. So we cut back to the Hyperion courtyard specifically, where Holtz takes down one of the mercenaries who apparently really suck at their jobs.
Yeah. I can't decide if they're trying to make us feel that Holtz is that much of a badass or that these special ops guys are that shitty.
I'm fairly certain the former, but it had more of the effect of the latter. So
Yeah.
We're back in the lobby now where the obstetrician from hell sets up shop in the middle of the lobby. Luckily, Holtz is there to clean up that little mess and do Angel and Darla a huge favor.
Right.
Back in the monitoring room at the Gerba Thump Thump, Linwood, Gavin, and Lila are like, who the fuck is that guy? And who cares? Take him out. And the audio and video feed just goes fucking bonkers.
And they hear people screaming and
There's
some
a struggle.
Some dude loudly dying. And they're so proud of themselves because, oh, that dude's obviously dead.
They must have taken him out. Yeah, definitely. I got my money on Holtz, frankly. Only because the show seems to have invested slightly more time into his plot line than anything here.
It always kind of bothers me in moments like these where they're trying to quote, hard air quotes, add suspense.
Yeah.
And it's like, you wouldn't have put all this time into this character and then done this. So
Yeah.
like,
But also I found it extraordinarily unrealistic. Unimmersive that Holtz is taking out this modern SWAT team single-handedly.
With a sword.
With a
He has
sword.
a sword.
Why does he need to? He's got an army of demons.
right. And the implication with how it goes about is that he did it alone.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, at no point have we seen anything to tell us that Holtz is that badass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no hints whatsoever. If he was that badass, there's no fucking way Angelus and Darla would have survived.
Mm-hmm.
No fucking way.
And honestly, I think the way that they cut out the video was partially so that they didn't have to choreograph a big
Right.
sequence to make it actually look like he
this
fought
whole
them.
episode reeks of, hey guys, we blew our budget on a different episode, so we got to kind of cobble some shit together.
Yeah, we can't actually afford to pay the fight choreographer very much for this one. So if you guys could just like grab each other's guns and then we're just going to make the screen fizzle out.
Yeah.
Cool, go.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So Angel, so now we're in the alleyway where Angel parks the car in an alleyway.
Yeah.
And says, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait
wait
longer.
longer.
Fuck you. So
I wanted to do it too.
no, but actually he's like, go, just save yourselves. And then he punches Bigfoot in the face to make him save himself and run back into the woods. Oh, wait, that was John Lithgow and Harry and the Hendersons. You can see how I would get the two confused.
Yes.
All right, just making sure.
God, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
So Darla's about to say something. It looks like she might know or sense something is going
Right.
on at the hotel. But then she's like, fuck it. Just go. It'll be fine.
No, like she has kind of a moment of like worry for Angel, I think.
Yeah.
And that, like, she's like, actually, you know what? I don't want to get mushy. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then Angel Batmans his ass up the side of a building.
Like a little fluffy squirrel. He's like, and just latches onto things and pulls himself up. And he's in the lobby in just a moment's time.
Yep.
Where he is horrified to see a bunch of dead people and equipment as the hell baby doctor with chicken feet for feet.
That was odd.
That was a turn.
Yeah.
That was a plot twist, definitely.
Okay. Did they hint that there was something weird about him?
I mean, he's an evil baby
Well,
doctor.
yeah, but
who
like
clearly hasn't gotten over the Third Reich. And he's wearing a very evil-looking leather jacket. So,
it's a Nazi coat.
So he's got chicken
it's
feet.
a Nazi coat.
You know?
He has Nazi coat and chicken feet.
Uh-huh. Every time.
Yeah, every time.
Hitler had chicken feet.
Oh, I'm sure.
Didn't you know?
Enter Holtz.
You know, it doesn't seem like he could support himself with chicken feet.
Right?
But I like where they were going with it. So, yeah, enter Holtz. He reveals himself to Angel dramatically.
Yes.
I've been looking for you, Angelus.
Dun, dun, dun.
Back to the car where they're all debating whether they should leave yet because it's been 6.5 minutes.
And then Darla goes into labor.
And gee, I don't know. Maybe listen to Angel, guys, but his Fred jinxes everything by saying, well, what could go wrong in another minute? And Darla screams with labor pains. She's like, sorry I asked. Wesley
And like, they would, what? They would have been a minute and a half down the road? That wouldn't have made a difference.
They had to pull over and be like, all right, pregnant woman. Wet baby coming through. Wesley confirms somehow that her water's broken and this is the real deal. Get the blanket. Oh, yeah, that's all you need to deliver a baby. You just got to protect those leather seats and it's all good. Not a problem.
You know what cracks me up?
Do tell.
So I've been watching Bones at work.
Yeah.
Which has David Boreanaz.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the episodes I watched tonight was when him and Bones has a baby and gives birth because they can't get to the hospital. And so like symmetry, man, it's weird.
Weird how that works out.
Yeah.
Weird how plots just keep getting regurgitated and
Like,
chewed up and
in
recycled.
TVs, does anyone get born in a fucking hospital?
Not on TV. Hell no, son.
Anyway, Gerard.
Gerarg.
Is this for me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Night, I shall walk the earth. Hold on. You've got something in your eye.
So how'd you feel about this episode, Rex?
This fucking episode sucked.
Yeah, this episode was all over the place.
Boring.
It just felt like there were too many cooks in the kitchen on
It
this
didn't
one.
have a plot.
Yeah.
Like, it had no real plot line. It was like, hey guys, let's cobble together all these fucking scenes from other episodes. And yeah, this maybe kind of works.
So we want two things to happen in this episode. Holtz is going to get to Angel and Darla's going to go into labor, and we need some shit to happen in the meantime.
Dude, I don't even fucking know what to say will be my quote of the day.
I got fucking nothing on that.
Nothing. Like, even the ones I wrote down aren't good.
They're not particularly good. I think I know what I want to pick. Actually, yeah. I'm going to give my quote of the day to Gavin Park. Blackmail? No one cares. From what I hear, bumping uglies with an old man body jumped into a vampire is the closest thing you've had to a meaningful relationship in years.
Yeah, that's a good one. I got nothing, man. I'm going to just second yours.
What about my close second would have been the phone message.
Okay, no, actually, yes. That I'm going to go with the phone message.
To speak to or worship Master Tarfall, Underlord of Pain, press 3.
But I'm going to say that the quote of the day really should be the joke that should have been there.
In the alternate universe
Yes.
where he presses 1 to talk to Jessica.
Christine.
Yes.
Because that would have been so much funnier.
I'm on board that it would have been funnier. I'd like to see it play out, though.
If that had happened, I think that would have unquestionably been one of the funniest moments in the episode.
Perhaps in the show. Until we get to see Angel be a
Right.
puppet, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, overall, I think this fucking episode was hot garbage.
I don't necessarily think it's hot garbage. I think we're suffering a little bit, if not a lot of it, from double episode syndrome because I accidentally caught the first 10 seconds of the next episode. It goes directly into Angel talking to Holtz, and this is really just all one long episode.
Right, yeah.
And we've only just reviewed half of an episode, and that's why it feels part of why it feels disjointed and bullshit.
And it is very possible the next episode will inevitably bring it around. Maybe. They've done that before.
It will hopefully be more energy filled and climactic.
But as it is, even for a setup episode, this was rough.
It was a bit rough.
Very rough.
It was kind of rough.
If nothing else, they could have done a lot of good streamlining with not so much back and forth. There were a lot of times where they were at Wolfram and Hart and they cut away to shit going on elsewhere and cut back to Wolfram and Hart, and they could have just swapped those scenes around and made it 2 longer scenes, and it would have flowed a lot fucking better.
Yeah. We're not that ADHD, guys. Come on.
The biggest problem was the editing of this episode was where it was hot garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Like the writing, maybe it wasn't as bad as I'm really feeling it was because like it's just so much harder to do these notes when I don't have fucking Adderall. But overall, I think the editing was the biggest problem.
Really? Yeah, that's an interesting take because I definitely would have voted the writing more so than the editing. I'm used to the back and forth. I can parse that shit out in my head. It doesn't bother me that much.
It's just harder for me to track without proper meds, man.
If I have ADHD, it is definitely manifesting itself very differently from yours.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, this has been another episode of Ale with Angel. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. If you want to shop for our goods, you can head on over to beerwithbuffy.com/shop. We've got fun stuff like coffee mugs, t-shirts, other stuff, water bottles, tote bags.
Yeah, we got a tote bag and water bottle.
Hoodies.
Definitely got hoodies.
Don't forget that if you want to get in the running to win a hoodie, we just need 6 more reviews on iTunes. Reviewing us on iTunes, coincidentally, is the best way that you can help us out. Please do that. If you have not, please figure out how to do that if you don't know how and if you hate Apple like us. If you want to support us financially, you can head on over to patreon.com/beerwithbuffy. We have a cat naming perk. We haven't done that in a while. That sounds fun, right?
That does sound fun.
I already said review us on iTunes. If you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at beerwithbuffy@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail or text us, you can do so at 269-743-0783. As always, a big shout out to JJ Treadway for all of our opening, closing, and transitional music. This has been Ale with Angel. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex. Have a good night.
Keanu Speed, Rex.
Dude, I'm still thinking about the fucking ducklings.
I know, right?
Fuck you.
Peacock. Reeves be with those poor frozen ducklings.
Those poor fucking ducklings, man.
God.
Oh, it makes me so sad.
Yeah, it's the saddest fucking thing that ever happened.
You have a sacred birthright. You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Why can't you people just leave me alone?
You are the Slayer.
Go ahead. Prepare me.
I'm a watcher. I haven't the skill.
Oh, come on.
By appealing to your common sense. Werewolves, incubi, succubi, everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day.
One gal in all the world.
Common sense.
One gal in all the
Common
world.
sense. It was a bit, British, wasn't it?
Wait, what have we done? Why are we watching this?